All right. Welcome to episode 279 of Joshua Kemble's live stream. I'm Joshua Kemble. I have been an illustrator and graphic designer for about 20 years, and I have been an art director for over 8. And I am having an early Sunday morning stream. So welcome to the stream. We're going to be working on comics today. When I'm not working on graphic design or illustration, I'm working on comic books like, let's see here, Jacob's Apartment and 2 Stories, which I'll be playing trailers for throughout the stream. But if you're curious, please check those out on Amazon or bookstores everywhere online. Jacob's Apartment and 2 Stories, both graphic novels that I spent about 5 years making each, and both are very good. So anyhow, we'll be playing trailers for those throughout the stream, but what I'd like to do this morning is get back to work on, let's see here, back to work on Not Death But Love, the strange supernatural story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, which is a book that we're doing for Turner Publishing. And so it's a historical fiction graphic novel. It's a Sunday morning, which is kind of a weird time for me to be streaming, but that's what is on the dock for today. So strap yourselves in and let's get ready to work on some comic books. Yay, very exciting stuff. Okay, so you're going to hear a lot of noise in the background too, because this is a day stream. And my plan is to stream for about, let's see, we're going to stream live till about 11:30. And then at 11:30, I'm going to call it because I have to go record music with my buddy Josh. So that is what is on the dock. So we're going to go straight till 11:30 and see how far we can get. Also, I was kind of sick in the last few days. And so I have missed a few days of productivity, as well as I missed Artcasters, which was kind of a bummer. But one good piece of news that I have for anybody who's kind of like was subscribed and is like, what's going on with Artcasters? It's supposed to be on Thursdays. We're actually doing a special Artcasters where we're going to talk to Scott Cirkland about his new YouTube channel launch. And we're going to talk to him about that today. So that should be pretty exciting at 9 p.m. So that's what's on the dock. What we're going to do today, what I'm going to be working on is I want to work on the roughs for page 80 of Not Death But Love. So we're on page 80. So right now for finished art, let's see here. For final art, we're up to page 76. And for roughs, we've so far roughed out 77, 78, 79, and now we're going to be working on 80. So as usual on this stream, here's my face, right? Right down here is where I'll be working on my Wacom tablet, my cheapo Wacom tablet. And then right over there, you're going to basically be seeing the page as I work on it. So what we're going to do right now is work on a thumbnail for page 80. And I forgot to mention right down there is the section of the script that we're going to be working on. So I'm breaking it down from scripts to art, and we'll see how that goes. So let's see here. And it is going to take me probably a little bit just to get back in the flow of things because, again, was kind of sick over the weekend. Saturday, I spent most of the day kind of resting and recouping. And so today is like kind of a catch-up day for all things comic related. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our previous page just to kind of get back into the zone. So I just accidentally opened 80. Let's open up 79. So page 79 is a section of the script where Robert and Elizabeth have gone to what was it called? I can't remember the name of the theater, but it's like this big theater in Italy. And they went to the theater to see Bosco the Magician. So this is the theater, and then the magician kind of doing a ball and cup routine. Bosco was a magician in the Victorian era. And so we see a little bit of the routine. Then we see him levitating somebody in a hoop and the crowd going, ooh, and then he bows. And so that's kind of where we're at. We've also established more tension as they were walking into the theater between Robert and Elizabeth. Robert being the skeptic and Elizabeth being the person who really wants to believe in spiritualism and stuff like that. And so this is going to be a tension that draws throughout the script. So now we're at the blank page, now that we've kind of caught up on where we're at in the story. And now it is time to kind of see where we can get. So the first thing I always start out with on these pages is a list. You'll notice that I also have made a copy of page 78. What I end up doing for roughs is basically copying the a page prior. So like if I'm working on page 80, I copy page 78 so that I have the template all set up with the proper bleeds for the book, which is a really helpful thing. And what we're going to do now is a list, and we're going to go ahead and make a list and see where it goes. So let's see here. So I'm going to turn on viewing extras because I don't need to see my guides or my bleeds yet. And then we're going to go ahead and break down the script to a list. So let's see here. So we have a list that we can make from page 80 script. Robert and Elizabeth head toward the theater exit along with other audience members. So we need the audience members kind of leaving towards an exit. This is already kind of challenging. Let's see here. Okay. So one is going to be Robert and Elizabeth heading to exit. So that's going to be like probably like a behind them kind of scene. So we're probably going to see them heading there. Number 2 is an usher. And you know what's great? I think we have some nice references of ushers, which is pretty cool. An usher approaches. I was going to make a bad joke about the musician Usher, but I can't remember what the stupid trendy song that he made was, so never mind. Okay, approaches and stops them with text. So it's the usher says, Mr. and Mrs. Browning. Let's just say dialogue. Mr. and Mrs. Browning, and then Robert says yes. So then I think three will be a close up. Let's not do a close up. Let's do a mid shot of Usher. This is a lot happening. Okay, of Usher, Robert. I was just realizing it's like 2 locations on one page. That'll be interesting to see how that breaks down. So a mid shot of, I just said Escher instead of Usher. You can tell I'm still kind of waking up from being sick all week. Okay, so mid shot of Usher, Robert, and EBB, and this is just going to be dialogue again. So then it says the usher. So the usher is going to say, Senor Bosco. So Robert says yes. Then the usher is going to say, Senor Bosco requests you would do him the honor of visiting him in his dressing room. And then Elizabeth's going to say, we would be delighted. So then it's got B is going to be usher knocks on door on Bosco's door. And it says Elizabeth and Robert waiting behind him. So I'll just have the SFX here, which will be the tap tap. I don't know if tap tap's the right sound for knocking on a door. Does tapping happen when you knock on a door? We might want to change that sound effect. You guys tell me, if anybody's listening, what you think. SFX, does tap tap sound like knocking on a door? That just doesn't sound right. Okay, so EBB and Robert waiting behind him. I'm going to have this change up a little bit. So I'm going to have this be the usher walking to the door, and then Elizabeth and Robert waiting behind him. Then the fifth will be usher knocks. And then sixth will be Bosco enter. Okay. So I think that's kind of a good breakdown of like list of what we're gonna thumbnail. So for any of you guys who might not know this, like what I like to do when I'm working on illustrating from like the comic pages from a script is I like to break it down into text, and then from there I break it down into thumbnails. From there I'll use the thumbnails as like a rough to make the rough on top of after I've made kind of roughs of like the panel borders. So that's kind of how I do it. We'll see how that works. I think that I just got a couple questions about the Karloff. So I'm gonna have to take care of that. I backed Gold Key's Karloff book because I was really excited about that. They were guests on Snarkcasters, and it was cool to see. Okay, so let's get into our thumbnail. So I'll call this one thumbnail. And okay, so from now we're going to thumbnail from the script. So the first one is heading towards the exit. Let's take a look at, I know we have, okay, that was the theater name. I knew I had forgotten it. It's called Teatro Niccolini. So if they're heading toward the exits, I think actually this is really good to kind of see. I don't need to see much of it, but at least this gives me like a good angle to kind of draw that from. So if they're exiting, we should have. So, okay, so panel 1. Should this be a wide shot? I think a wide and short shot. That might be kind of weird, but I think that would be really cool. Or it could be like almost like an overhead where the usher's here by the door, and you got like your people kind of here. Got your gate thing, because it did seem like there's like an exit here, and that's definitely a door. Yeah, I think the usher would be a little bit taller than that. Let's see here. So would the doors open outward or yeah, okay. I think the doors would actually be kind of outward. So that's going to help. And then we're going to have our just kind of usher here, and then we'll have the people kind of leaving. Including Robert and Elizabeth. Robert and Elizabeth will be, let's see here. Let me see my last rough just to double check. Okay, so Elizabeth would be leaving first, weirdly enough. just with the order they were standing in. Okay, so let's get a little bit more. Okay, so there can be like people sort of leaving, they're walking. We'll have Elizabeth here. She's going to be walking. Let's have Robert kind of by her side, walking. Robert's arm might have her hand in it. And we might have, I think there was like a more kind of large, heavy-set gentleman there. This is like the worst little thumbnail. And then we'll have a couple other people. How many seats were there? And we'll have this usher kind of standing here. Like he's going to have, we'll look more into his costume as it goes. So there were, we already counted these seats, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seats. So I want it to be like, maybe there's a person leaving here. Let's make these a little bit taller. Just a little bit taller of a door. Okay, now I can see what's happening. Okay. And we'll have like a person kind of leaving. Oh, that person suddenly got really tall. We'll have like a person here. It all looks like gibberish, I know, but it's a thumbnail, okay? So then from there, we're going to have just a slight audience member. So Elizabeth, Robert, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people behind them. Nice. Paul said, "Hey, Josh, just sitting down to draw. Nice timing." Nice, Paul. Nice to hear that. And then Frank, who just finished his mini comics workshop at a library, said, "Dropping by to say hi. Can't stay." Nice. How did it go, Frank? I hope it went well. Paul was awesome to hang out with. How was your trip back? When did you get back to Michigan? I met up with Paul and Jim actually last weekend, and it was really fun. Very nice to meet up with them. Right now, I'm just super thankful to be like feeling somewhat okay, because like I had to actually call out on Friday from my job just because like I was not feeling good, and then Friday and Saturday were just spent kind of getting my stomach in order. I know, not fun, exciting facts here, guys. Okay, so this will be the stage, and then above here will be, I want it to be kind of a wide shot. So this is almost like the stage that they're all going to be walking along, and then we'll have this like here. I think even a wider shot will be a lot of fun. And then here will be where we see these kind of crazy side things that are kind of here. And maybe here we'll see just a little bit. No, we don't want to go too wide. I mean, too tall. We want to go wide with this shot. So, yeah, I think that'll work. And then here is going to be the little like, yeah, the little thingamabob. What is it that Christopher Runciman always says? Bits and bobs. Just going to draw some bits and bobs here, as Mr. Runciman would say. It was nice meeting Paul, though. Like one of the things I've loved about pretty much meeting like most people from our crew, is that I think, if I do say so myself, I might say we're actually some pretty decent people. He said, oh, nice, nice. The dad joke was embraced and taken. I feel like there should be like I need like a soundboard so I can do a but a tss. So Paul said, flew back on Monday. My arms were killing me the rest of the week from all that flying. Yeah. We're we're here all day, guys. Okay, so there's how I'm gonna do the first shot. The usher approaching to stop them. So okay, this is an interesting breakup, and I don't know where we're gonna go here. Do we do 3 under? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Usher approaches to stop them, and there's dialogue. Okay. So the usher is going to be here. So we're already going to introduce the usher here. So the usher, I need to see. I thought I had a thing that was like a picture of the ushers. I think there is like a diagram here. Let's see. Did we already accidentally get rid of it? Was it on a previous page? Because I know there was a couple pages ago. We might need to see. I don't think we got rid of it. But I know there was a really awesome theater usher that we had seen before. Well, okay, we'll call this panel 1. Try to kind of organize my panels so I don't have to dig through all the references. Okay, so there's our panel 1. Did we get rid of the ticket booth stuff? Because if so, I'm gonna have to pull open. Okay, there's one. I feel like the ticket booth stuff will come if I just keep hunting. Just keep hunting here. Ah, there it is. This was kindly provided by Philip Chandler. I was trying to find what an usher would look like. What is this? What is this song by Usher? Do you guys know anything about that kind of pop music? I don't know anything about the music those kids are playing, but I feel like there should be an Usher. Okay, so that's what the ushers are going to look like. Okay, got it. They're kind of wearing like a interesting kind of outfit. Almost looks like pajamas, and then if you had pajamas of like the Death Star uniforms that the dudes who work on the Death Star wear. I don't remember what rank that is, but okay. That's all I have to remember. Okay, let's go back to our thumbnail. So this is going to be the usher saying Mr. and Mrs. Browning, and he's kind of stopping them. So here we'll have just kind of the Mr. and Mrs. Browning, the usher. And let's see, what's he going to have here? Why did I do like that giant hat? Maybe his hand will be here. Usher is one of my favorites. He said, yeah, the name of what probably is his most popular song. What is the name of his most popular song? Yeah, isn't it? Oh, that's right. That yeah. All right. So that's what this usher is going to be saying. He's going to be saying, yeah. And then it's got that boop, 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 boop. Okay. Anyhow, now I remember. All right. I'm here with the bad jokes all day, guys. So this is going to be Elizabeth. Elizabeth will be here. She's going to be a little bit shorter than Robert. And her and Robert are walking together. She's got like the outfit she has, we have kind of worked out on other things. And this will be Robert saying, yes. Let's see here. I have a better idea for Robert. I think I've made Robert about right, but I think now the usher is awfully short. I'm getting awfully into detail for a uh for a thumbnail, but that's okay. The more kind of we work out here, the better, right? So let's see. I think the usher is okay. So this is going to be Mr. and Mrs. Browning, which I don't think is going to take up quite as much space. And we'll work out the deets of this all later. All right. I know you're probably relieved to be back in like such pleasant weather, you know, from just experiencing just the hellish weather in California and getting back to the beautiful climate of Michigan. Paul, I'm sure is just um absolutely amazing to get away from that horrible tepid ocean air, get back to lakeside weather. All right, so they're going to be kind of here. That's what we're kind of working out here. So this is him kind of stopping them and saying, "Mr. and Mrs. Browning, let's we can kind of get rid of that usher." I feel like that should take up more space, but that okay. Regardless, we'll figure it out. So we've got 1, 2, and then this was going to be more dialogue between them. If that was 3, that actually works. Okay. So we're going to make this a wee bit bigger. A wee bit bigger here. Okay, and then there's going to be dialogue. Nice. Paul said, had such a great time meeting up. I love my brother, but his intensity can be exhausting. I was ready to get home by Monday. I can understand that. I kind of relate to that, though. I'm a pretty intense person, so I relate to him. And then Jim said, "Hey, kiddo, you guys doing Artcasters tonight?" We are indeed. We are indeed. I was a little worried I might have to cancel it because I was sick Friday and Saturday, but I woke up today and I'm like, yay, I can catch up on work. I'm going to my friend Josh's at I'm cutting out of here at 11:30 to go record some music, and then yes, we are definitely doing an AMA with Scott Cirkland, the Cirque works. Yeah, Paul was saying crazy left 70 and sunny beach to 90 scorching sun and rust. I know, like, isn't it nice to be back home, Paul? Um, and then Paul also said, Jim in the hizza. Holla! Oh my gosh, it's the J Boys. It's official. All right, guys. just so you know, J-Boys is a very dangerous gang in Los Angeles. Jim can tell you all about it. They're a very dangerous gang. Their symbol is a J, and their turf is anywhere that there's no beef with any other gangs. That's basically their turf, is anywhere no one wants to beef. That's where the J-Boys hang out. Jim said, I just bought an audio interface. Going to try it out this morning. Do you have one, Josh? Plug in your guitar to your computer. I do. It's called a Scarlett. That's what I was just looking at when I'm like this. Yeah, it's a Scarlett Solo. Yeah, it's nice to have. And then Paul said, by the way, my brother had a great time. He thought you guys were fantastic. He was fantastic. He's kind of a talented dude. Hand making cars, baking the headlights. It's just kind of madness. Okay, so we gotta get to panel 3 here. By the way, Jim and Paul, if you guys want to join in on stream, let me know. I can send you a link. If you guys are doing stuff off stream, that's fine too. Nice. Jim said, I bought a knockoff version of the Scarlett. I think there's other versions now. Like that one, I was fortunate enough to have a friend of a friend just like give me theirs, which was kind of cool. But yeah, that's really helpful because then you don't have to like mic up an amp or whatever. You can just play straight through, which is really cool. Jim was saying your brother was great. We were just talking about his custom cars this weekend. Yeah. I was thinking about his custom cars whilst throwing up yesterday and the day before when I was sick. That's right. I'm just kidding. But he was really cool. And I even told my wife about him. He's a pretty rad dude. It's nice to meet you guys. It's nice to, again, know that we aren't entirely, like, we have a pretty tight, nice group of people. I feel like what we need at some point at one of these meetups, one of us needs to be a complete psychopath. That just has to happen at some point. All right, let's see here. So, Senor Bosco requests you would do him the honor of visiting him in his dressing room. So, I kind of want this to be, just to keep it kind of interesting, maybe this could be like behind him. And that kind of keeps our line of action. I don't know if I've talked about line of action recently. In case anyone's curious, all that means is like here, the usher is on the left, Elizabeth and Robert are on the right. So if I'm going to keep with the line of action, even if I do a behind shot, I should try to keep the usher on the left and Elizabeth and Robert on the right. So here's going to be like an over shoulder shot of him. I think he'll even have his hand out. Darn libs, always looking for handouts. That was my imitation of people I live near. Okay, let's see here. Paul said, I'm drawing. I'd be glad to jump on for a bit. Nice. Mr. Lujan, if you want me to send you a link too, I can send it your way as well. Looks like we have a party with the Pate. We got a Paul Pate party. Where is... Okay, there we go. Boom. All right, I sent you the link, Paul, on Facebook. You know what? I'm just gonna send Jim the link to. Paul was like, "Own the libs." That's right. I feel like it is a strange thing. That's a whole like industry in comics of people selling comics that will quote unquote own the libs. It's like a selling point. I think that's amazing. It's just shocking to me that people are willing to spend money. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Jim said, I'm at a Starbucks, but I think that would be a little too weird. Yeah, I think if you're at a Starbucks and you're just like, hi, live from although honestly, it could be hilarious where you're like, I'm here live from Starbucks and I'm just doing the report. Bob over here, it looks like he is ordering a latte. You could interview the cashiers about unionization. Be like, I'm here for the Kremble Nation. We have reporters on the ground at Starbucks. Okay, anyhow. I was working for a second there. Okay. This is saying Senor Bosco requests you would do him the honor of visiting him in his dressing room. Jagoom. Jagoom. And then Elizabeth is going to say, we would be delighted. So I think here we'll have her. And let's see, if you're saying we would be delighted, yeah, okay. That kind of makes sense. I was trying to think of a hand gesture that would make sense for we would be delighted. We might have a Paul Pate joining us soon. You never know. All right, guys. So this is going to be her saying we would be delighted. Her dress, I need to, well, you know what? Let's see here. I feel like there's a portrait that I had here. Ah, we got Paul Pate. Paul, just give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready. Oh, sweet. I got 2 thumbs up. I still like the 2 thumbs joke. I feel like that's one of the best
This guy.
things that's happened here. Let me get rid of this ridiculous brand. I've realized this. Oh, wait. No. Where is it?
You can hear me all right?
Yeah, 100%. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, the traveling is hard on me. I don't particularly like being on an airplane, for hours and hours, but I'm just now getting back to normal,
Yeah,
My sleep
understandably.
schedule is all messed up from staying up way too late out there and stuff.
Yeah, my sleep schedule got messed up just from being sick this weekend.
I bet. I'm glad you're feeling better, man. That's rough.
It's all right. It's just life, People
Yeah,
get
it
sick.
happens.
Yeah, but like it's going to be interesting. Like we're doing Artcasters tonight, and I'm hoping that my sleep schedule is not so messed up that like when I'm doing it, I'm just like a blob who's just like, so Scott, and everybody's like, what's going on? But it should be cool to do a little AMA with Scott, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was mentioning somewhere that Thursday night or when there was no Artcasters, I felt kind of lost.
It was kind of weird. I feel bad. That was my bad.
Oh, that was because of the stomach situation?
No, well, it probably. But what's funny is I got home, like I worked OT a little bit, and then I got home and took a nap, and I never woke up. And then I was like,
Yeah,
I
right.
woke up feeling awful, like not feeling sick, but just feeling awful. But then it turns out I was actually sick too. So, because I got like halfway to work the next day and was like, just like had to pull around, pull the car around
Yeah.
because I was like, I'm gonna throw up here. So
Oh,
I'm
boy.
guessing that might be part of why I was, why I missed. There's a million excuses.
Excuses. Everybody's got them.
What it comes down to is I just didn't think Scott deserved his time in the limelight. That's what it came down to.
Right. Priorities, and he's just not one of them.
Exactly. Where's the hat? Oh my gosh.
I apologize for not having a hat.
That is true. That is true. That was Jim's comment. He was shocked to see.
Okay, fine. Here, let me pull out a good one here.
My goodness. Are you talking to me, Jim, about the hat? Or are you thinking this needs to be like a hat stream? Or was that just specifically Paul? Because I'm guessing it was Paul, because Paul is always rocking the pretty cool detective hat.
I'll give you a hat.
Oh dang. I've seen that hat before. On a non-existent stream. It's too bad those aren't up, those Adam Lore ones. Do you remember the big karaoke fest?
Oh yeah. I love karaoke.
Yeah, there was like he did like a 24-hour karaoke stream.
Yeah,
that was kind of legendary, and I don't know if anyone will ever see because I think like the copyright,
I'm
issues.
sure. I'm sure. Yeah. I think I've got the last few streams that I did, I played like you can find this. It says lo-fi beats for studying or lo-fi beats for chilling.
Nice.
On YouTube, so I played it in the background, and it flagged me for copyright.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I'm like, oh man, you can't.
Oh, that's a fair point. He said, "Are you saying my bad or it was my bad? Please don't blame her. That's my wife's name is Mai." So.
So you were a bachelor there for a while. Is that still going on?
I'm still a bachelor till June. So yeah, I'm Mr.
Till July.
Yeah, or July. My goodness, I'm still a little sleepy too. I'm forgetting what month it is.
Yeah, that's left to your own devices.
Yeah. Left to my own devices, I become like a wild man who gets sick and.
Right. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm left to my own devices, I have all these big plans. When I'm left home alone, I have these big plans.
Yeah.
And they never come. They never, I end up just, kind of wasting the day.
Yeah, that sounds about right. My wife is half of why I am successful. I do. And so when she's gone, it's like I suddenly start being less and less successful. Let's see here. Usher walks to the door, and Elizabeth and Robert are waiting behind him. Okay, so this is going to be the Usher walking to a door. This is so hard. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Sorry, I'm like talking through a thumbnail real quick too. What are you working on, Paul?
Don't let me bother you. I'm working on another page of Detective Perez, page 65.
Nice.
So I didn't really work on it, since I worked on it a little bit yesterday in the morning, and then haven't worked on it. But I didn't work on it all week. After California, I was just trying to recover,
Yeah, that's understandable. So okay, and Usher is. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to get back into it, is all I'm saying.
No, it's good to do. So the Usher, I'm gonna have this be the Usher is gonna be here, I think, and then we'll have Robert and Elizabeth behind him here. But at least this way we can kind of set up an establishing shot, like of the fact that we're kind of backstage now. And then we'll have Robert and Elizabeth here. So this will be Elizabeth. And then we'll have Robert kind of here. Just to kind of establish the scene. Thumbnails are so fun. Because it's like I when I'm doing a thumbnail, I could really care less about half the detail,
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, this is going to be Bosco. It'll have Bosco written on it or something. And then I think sort of have like some other dressing room type stuff. And maybe even like an old timey like backstage kind of sign or something on the roof. The roof, maybe the roof could be on fire. What do you think?
I'm sure it is. Goes without saying.
I love that song.
What I find annoying is trying to get the colors from the previous page to go to the next page, get the right color. What do you do for that?
The colors from the previous page to the next page?
Yeah. Do you have like more than one page up at a time, or when you're
Yeah, I just open up a page. Like there's a couple options. Like some people I know who are a little more thorough and less sloppy, they'll just make a palette, like a color palette, where they name each,
They name the colors.
Yeah. And that's pretty smart. For me, I just pull open previous pages and eyedrop them.
Yeah.
If I were working with Pantones, then I would definitely make like just a Pantone chart, But since I'm working in CMYK, it's like it's just whatever colors I used on the previous ones.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
So now we're gonna do close up, where it's gonna be. This is actually gonna go pretty quick, I think. I'm hoping I can finish these by like 11:30. That's my hope. It's going to be the usher's arm, just kind of doing a tap.
Oh yeah. Usher.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Usher's in the house. Is that was that his song? Was the one that's like that one? Yeah. Okay,
yeah, that's the one. That's okay. Usher and Lil Jon and Ludacris, I think.
It's interesting.
But he's got a lot of good songs, if that's the kind of music that you like, But
I don't know if I'd be into Usher, but
probably not.
I think like, I will respect the fact that it seems like the dude can dance very well.
Yes,
and that is a good thing for that style of music. You should have that for sure. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I don't know
for sure.
Like I feel like what was his name? Justin Timberlake. Was another one of those guys I wanted to kind of hate, but he's a pretty darn good dancer, and I was like, I'll give him credit. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I like that kind of music. Like I'm not real hardcore, Like I'm your white.
I thought you were really into like slop, like really hardcore funk.
No, but I'm your average white, Midwestern white bread. Grew up with whatever, but just for some stupid reason, I'm drawn to the R&B music. But I'm not hardcore. I mean, it's like crossover type stuff that like.
Yeah, I like R&B though. R&B is great, like especially I don't know. For me, like soul and R&B are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like Marvin Gaye, for example.
Marvin Gaye's amazing.
Yeah,
Al Green.
Yeah, I love them, but they're appealing to big audiences.
How do you feel about like the staple singers?
Yeah, I mean, I like the staple singers.
Yeah, see, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's probably more like a little bit I don't really know, but I guess I really didn't even know, like, what do black people listen to, you know? Is more hardcore. Mine's just the more pop, you know, and it's like same with rock. Like
Nice.
you asked me about rock, I like Journey. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where real rock people like,
Hey,
like
I would not say real rock people like Journey. If somebody
yeah.
doesn't like Journey, there's something wrong with them. That
Well, but
band
I'm
is
just
so
saying, like,
fun.
they like Pearl Jam and more of this stuff, like the more of the, what do you call it when you're more into something? Like if you like comics, you read Stray Bullets, and you don't just read like Spider-Man and Superman, right? You read.
But a lot of people who are into comics just read Spider-Man and Superman, you know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And honestly, like from what I've gathered, you seem to have a pretty wide knowledge of music actually. You know?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I can only insult you from now on after this because I'm being too complimentary.
Yeah. It's gonna get kind of weird. You don't start insulting me.
Yeah. It's just
I'm
gonna
gonna be
have
uncomfortable, frankly.
to. Frankly, is Frank
Frankly,
in the chats?
he was a minute ago.
I thought Frank left.
Oh, that's right.
I've noticed that that Christopher calls Frank frankly
Right.
on his stream. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a little break. Do you mind if I put on a trailer?
That'd be wonderful.
All right. So which one would you want to see?
Let's see the game show one.
Oh,
I
nice.
thought I was going to get a lifetime supply of paper towels.
I think this is amazing. Freaking Wordzoid by Jim Luhan. All right, here is a trailer, and we'll be right back after this.
Well, Peter, since I'm such a big music fan, I'm going to have to go with Karen Carpenter. Oh, Stu, I'm sorry. That's the incorrect answer. Trish, what you got for us?
I'm gonna go with Kim Gordon.
All right, let's check that answer. Kim Gordon. Do we have a Kim Gordon? Yes, and that means you're our new Wordzoid champion, Trish. Dale, tell Trish what she's won. Trish, you've won a copy of 2 stories, a memoir of faith and mental illness. Handwritten, hand-drawn, and handed to you by artist and writer Joshua Kemble. But wait, that's not all. You've also won a copy of Jacob's Apartment, the story of a doomed romance. What happens when you take Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and put it in a blender with Ghost World? You get Jacob's Apartment, written and illustrated by Joshua Kemble. Trish, thank you for playing Wordzoid.
All right, great job, Trish.
I was told I was gonna get a lifetime supply of paper towels.
That is the best trailer ever.
Yeah, that's just awesome.
Jim was saying we're gonna get demonetized for mentioning R&B superstar Usher and demonetized by delicious flavored beverage Bosco. I love it. I love it.
You're really not working if you don't get me demonetized.
So what part are you on the Detective Perez? Like, do you want to recap the story thus far, or should people go to Instagram to check it out?
You can go and kind of read the whole story. I've made a few edits, but pretty much it's all there. Let's see what happens in the beginning. It starts off with
the way you're doing it, by the way, on Instagram is awesome. Sorry.
Thanks.
It's really cool. Oh, wait, I'm supposed to be insulting you now.
that was, well, here's an insult. That was Jim's idea.
Nice. Thanks, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So you guys are suffering through that because of Jim. Let's see. What's happened so far is, Detective Perez starts off in the hallway, a la DVSM 1979.
Nice.
You know, where he's got the girl standing out in the hallway of an office.
Yes.
Well, Detective Perez starts the similar. He's in the hallway walking towards the door of the county prosecutor. And he enters the door, and then he starts talking to the county prosecutor. And then that conversation is sort of the narration for the whole book.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also, if you guys are curious, Detective Perez is first introduced in this book, which you guys should all buy. I'm holding up here.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, this is the second one.
Yeah, but there's no order.
Good introduction, though, I think. Second book. Both are affordable and on Amazon. You guys should get them. So,
Thanks, Josh.
well, no, I mean, like, they're really good books. They're very entertaining and thought out too. I like them. For wait, insults. I'm supposed to be doing insults. They're okay.
Yeah, your book sucks too.
They're
You
all
obviously don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Making comics.
I feel like we do need to. I think Jim needs to let us know if he'd be down. But I feel like, Paul, we need to have a special art casters that's just a pretension cast.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do the entire time is just act like really above the guest. And we have to get a guest that's like completely not in on it.
Yeah.
And then just be like, anytime they talk, just be like, yeah, that makes me think of my great book.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful book. Have you heard about? It's just like the entire thing is whatever they say. You're like, I used to think that when I was a younger artist, you know.
I used to think that. Oh, that's awesome. I've actually really been into awkward comedy lately.
Awkward comedy is probably my favorite kind of comedy. Like Curb Your Enthusiasm is, I think, a really good example of that style of comedy. And it's funny, my wife is the polar opposite, where awkward comedy for her is like just it's too awkward and uncomfortable, and she's just like, I just don't like this. Yeah. Whereas for me, it's like that Seinfeld, like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Arrested Development did that a little bit too, although it gets a little zany. But I love like Curb Your Enthusiasm. My favorite episodes are the ones like there's one where he like goes to buy shoes, and then there's like a misunderstanding at the store, and it just escalates like worse and worse. To me, those are the funniest. I don't know. That's like the funniest stuff. You know, I used to think that was funny back in the day. But yeah, what awkward comedy have you been into lately? Like,
well, there's I don't know if I told you guys about this comedian called Ed Bassmaster.
I think you did, but
yeah, and there's one. It's called this video called "Never Ending Story," right? He's got a few of them actually. And he'll just interrupt somebody on the street, and he'll have it filmed. And he'll just start talking to him. And then,
okay.
And he'll go on for like 15 minutes, right? When the first one I watched, I was like, I watched all 15 minutes of it. And at the end, it's just like, oh yeah, well, catch you later, man. And I'm like, you got me on the Never Ending Story. I mean, the comedy of it is the fact that, you're watching it and he's telling this stupid story that just rambles on and on, goes all over the place.
It just has no purpose.
Yeah. But then I think the comedy is, the viewer is also getting sucked into this story.
Yeah.
And I watched the whole stupid thing and I just laughed so hard at myself, So my sisters were texting me, asking me how my trip with my brother was. And I mentioned, because my brother likes to talk a lot, and we all know this. So I said, and they were like, does he have is he self-aware? I'm like, yeah, we joke, me and my brother joked that him talking all the time is his never-ending story.
Nice.
So I send the video of the never-ending story to my sisters, tell them they need to watch this, right? And like, to me, I was just laughing so hard because I wanted to know how far they got into it. And I know my one sister, she would get mad at me. Like, why did you? My other sister was like, she made it 2 minutes in or something. It's like, you idiot.
Oh my gosh, I love that stuff though. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's just like the awkward, comedy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think there's something to it. Like it is interesting though how like I always find that fascinating that like the different tastes people have in comedy. Because
Yeah.
like for me, like slapstick stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it can be funny. And
Mm-hmm.
for sure, there's like, some stuff like the Ministry of Silly Walks and stuff that
Yeah,
definitely gets
that's
me.
classic.
But in general, it's like the slapstick stuff doesn't really do it for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
with humor, like it kind of does. But yeah, like awkward comedy, just there's something about it that just speaks to what I find really funny. Whereas
Yeah.
like I always find it interesting that like there's a whole range, of like comedy is definitely not
Right. Right.
a science. It's interesting to me that that's even the case, because it's like I think there are things that are kind of objectively funny,
Mm-hmm.
but but it is such a range, like what
Yeah,
people find funny, what they don't.
for sure.
I always find it weird when I'm like, again, like Curb Your Enthusiasm will have me like laughing so hard, and again, like I look over to my wife and she's just like not feeling it,
Yeah.
like
So, yeah,
that's a
and
funny
my wife is super annoyed by the awkward comedy too.
yeah, and it's
But
like
let
a
me ask you
weird.
something. So you remember Andrew Dice Clay, right?
I do remember the Dice Man for sure.
So I had recently heard an interview with him, and he was talking about when he was at the height of his fame. It was ridiculous. Like he was playing stadiums all across the country, right?
Yeah.
And he got together with Rick Rubin, and they made an album of him going to like these small clubs and just bombing, you know, like just going in and telling jokes and nobody was laughing. He was offending people. You know what I mean? It was just all the most awkward stuff. And all the comedians love that album. They think it's great. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I mean, I don't want to hear Andrew Dice Clay bomb, you know? You know what I mean? But I think what it is like all the comedians have heard all the good jokes, you know. I mean, they hear it every single night, those
Yeah.
long jokes. And so I think they like it still. But I think they're just at a different kind of interest level, you know. It's like kind of like with music, what I was trying to say about music is like, you know, there's accessible music like Journey, but then when you get into it more,
Yeah.
then you go into deeper dive into you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
So I think maybe awkward comedy falls into that. It's like, you know, yeah, I've heard all the good jokes, but I wanted something a little bit more weird, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Jim was saying for our snarky one, it can be called Snarkcasters.
Snarkcasters.
That could be the like parody art casters where we're just like super snarky, you know?
But just get somebody on that's like, you know, it's okay to offend them and not have them as a friend anymore, you know?
No.
Somebody you're willing to lose as a friend.
Well, or what we could do is like we could do the awkward comedy thing where whoever the guest is, like it can't be a guest we've had before, but it could be a guest who's in on it, but just acts like they're not in on it, like the entire time. That would be but the hard part is I'm really bad at like that kind of thing and keeping it. Like I think Scott could hold form because he's done like entire episodes as like Gene Simmons, you know. But even like there was an episode we did recently where he went on as like his anagram name or whatever that Jim had looked up. Yeah. And I think I blew the joke because like at one point I was just like, okay, Scott, do you want to introduce yourself though? And like, and then afterwards, I think I was like, oh, I could have like knowing Scott, like he probably would have done, because I forget what it was. It was like Snack King or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember that.
But it would have been funnier if like it might have actually been funny if we had been able to like keep that character up for like the entire episode, you know.
I couldn't do it. you guys just, you guys get me laughing. Me and my brother were talking about that. You guys had us laughing the whole time. And then Charlie shows up and oh my God, it's like a comedy show,
Yeah, Charlie Rossman's hilarious, man.
Oh gosh.
Very funny, very funny. But Jim's all right. He's funny.
Yeah, he's kind of funny.
I used to make those jokes, when I was learning comedy. Yeah.
But the thing with Jim is he's just kind of a jerk, So
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, funny can only take you so far.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so like for those of you who don't know, like behind the scenes, like Jim Lujan, like when we order food, he'll tell the waiters, like, "Do you know who I am?
He's that kind of like.
Do you know who I am?" And he's driving like a just ridiculous car, like a Bugatti. Mm-hmm. And he kind of like peels out of the parking lot.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Yeah. And then flips people off on his way out.
Right. He's that guy where you go, you're hanging out, and he's like, "I'm going to kick that guy's ass."
Yeah.
I can totally kick that guy's ass.
No, I mean, that was awkward. Like when we went to dinner, he, kept like talking about, like, he's kind of laughing and talking. And then he's like, "You see that guy behind me? I think he was staring at me. I think he was looking at me." And then he kind of turned to the guy and he's like, "You looking at something, buddy? You got a problem?" And it just escalated. Yeah.
It's old real fast.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like this chest bro thing where he's just like, "What's going on, bro? What do you want, bro?" Like it was kind of, it was out of control.
But aren't you like, you're just kind of like, "Oh, that's just Jim."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's Jim, but he's nice online.
See, I can't do it.
I know it's hard. It's hard with Jim in particular because Jim's such a nice guy. But meanwhile, he's at Starbucks, just like, "Where's my order? Do you know who I am? Do you know?" He's like, "You're gonna get some revengeance." Anyhow, yeah, I do think the wrestling promos need to happen for sure.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Gary and Jim, meanest two people in the world.
Yeah.
In real life. Yeah.
Toxic.
Yeah, very toxic folks. Okay, I have my thumbnail worked out. I'm gonna get a refill of water. Do you want to talk about Perez, or do you want me? Are you cool with me playing one more promo?
Yeah, you can play a trailer. Just because I'm trying to draw.
Yeah. No, understandable. Okay, so we will play. I'm gonna play another trailer if I can find it, and then we'll come back and I'm gonna rough this sucker out. Be careful though, ladies and gentlemen, while this is going. Like, if you run into Jim on the street, be careful. Don't look at him sideways. Okay, here we go. Speak clearly, it seems that only in dreams can we be these things we've seen. Walk around breathing I don't know the part to play in this heart of mine. There's dissonant things, they split at the seams. All right, we're back, and I'm just going to do this because I try to do this at the midway point now. This is episode 279 of my live stream. We're joined by Paul Pate of the Detective Perez graphic novels, and we're both working on comics. I'm working on roughs for page 80 of Not Death But Love, and I believe Paul is working on page 69. Was it 69, Paul?
65.
Oh, darn.
But we can, I'll work on 69 right now.
Yeah, he's working on 69.
Better turn the cameras off.
But anyhow, so if you're just tuning in,
Speaking of cars.
Nice. That looks awesome. You actually include a lot of cars. Let me turn off this music. I had it kicking on again.
This edition of Detective Perez is called Autotropolis.
Nice. And there is like a pretty epic U-Haul chase too.
Yeah, that's based on a true story. It's ripped from the headlines, Josh.
That's cool. That's I think oh man. That's kind of what was the story? It was like that there were guys like literally ripping off people's U-Haul trucks?
No. So I was at work, but I was on a call with this guy. There's a bunch of us, and this guy's like, hang on a minute. And he has to he interrupts the whole meeting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's gotta go. So then he comes back and he's like, yeah, there was like all these police in my apartment complex. And he watched it go down. And so what happened was there was this guy being chased, and by the police. This is a young guy, almost a kid. And he actually swam across the river in the city, a big river, went up into this apartment complex where the guy I work with, and he found a U-Haul truck that they were loading, and he took off in it. And the cops were chasing him. And they did a high-speed chase around the city. And then somebody went out live on Instagram with it. You could see the U-Haul driving down the street, stuff falling out of the back. It was insane. And all these cop cars come flying by. So this story is you couldn't write this. So
yeah, it's nuts, man.
Yeah, so I included it in sort of the opening of Detective Perez.
Yeah, it's funny how much you could just come up with stories just based on the news, and just
right.
weird occurrences on the news can inform so much.
Right. Well, the opening page of Welcome to Rust City is an actual news article about some vampires in Africa. And it's an actual news article that I found online, right? And so I just printed it as is, and it's literally about vampires in Mali, I think is the country,
That's so crazy.
Killing people or something. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. So, truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah,
That's what they say.
It is one of those weird things of there are I felt this way about the news, especially recently too, where it's you just can't make some of this stuff up.
How about what's going on in Russia?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. So from what it sounds like, it's this kind of army of mercenaries just got pissed off and just turned the other way and just started going to Moscow, right?
People they busted out of prison and stuff. The mercenaries are just they find them at prisons. They go into prisons and say, you can get out if you fight in my army. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
And then all of a sudden you hear they're headed towards Moscow. I mean, this is insane.
Yeah. I'm really surprised that there hasn't been some kind of blowback from that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a developing story, don't you?
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, that was a nutty one. I know they turned back.
Yeah, that's the latest.
So, but yeah, I'm curious what all happens from that, because I don't know. Putin doesn't tend to be a friendly fellow.
Right.
He's not a guy to forgive past wrongs, So.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's not the impression I get.
But yeah, it's even that whole scenario is just bizarre. And it's like if you saw that on like a Mission Impossible movie or something, you'd just be like, nah, like that would never happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah, Putin's whole life, I think, is like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you learn a little bit about his early career, he's a KGB guy, and poisoning people, and like setting off like false flag operations and things like that.
Yeah.
It's bananas.
No, and like a very skilled liar. Like it's kind of bizarre, but it's like on a level that
Well, yeah, not to get too political, but the whole QAnon and everything that's going in our country is crazy enough,
Oh no, it's nuts. It's like it's bizarre to me that like I never would have thought that like I don't know. Yeah, the last few years have been really shocking in a sense of just seeing people who seemed like we had some differences of opinions, but like they didn't seem like totally irrational.
Right.
And
I don't know about you. I get sucked into like, okay, if you have this political position, I can't be friends with you.
Yeah.
I have a difficult, which I don't think is good.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that, but some of the stuff, it's like, come on, man.
Well, it's hard to be friends with somebody who thinks that JFK is like organized, like he's secretly alive. Somehow he is like very pro-Trump. I don't know how that happened.
Right. Yeah.
And then like all liberals are sucking the blood of children. Like when people start believing that kind of stuff, it's hard to kind of maintain friendships.
Yeah.
In a scenario like that, where you're like, I don't know, you're like, could we have fun conspiracy theories again? Where it's like,
or just have a disagreement about the Second Amendment. Or
taxes, or taxes.
Taxes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the size of government kind of disagreements.
Yeah, the good old days when we talk about the fire department as a socialist organization.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny that I don't know, it's interesting to me to like miss those times.
Simpler times when George Bush was just
it's like, could we go back to like Reagan era like disagreements with the right? Like I thought Reagan, I thought Iran Contra was going to be the worst. The worst of it, but nope, apparently not. Anyhow, so no worries about getting super political. Like again, like on my stream I get a little more political than like on Snarkcasters or something like that, but I try not to get too political, but I don't have a problem with saying like the QAnon stuff's a little nuts.
Well,
yeah. But I also didn't think I'd see a time where the right would be like all pro Russia about stuff too,
Yeah, it's weird.
That's kind of bizarre because I'm like, dude, I'm like a lefty liberal. I shouldn't be the one who's like, oh, anti-Russia.
Right. I mean, like I like to think of myself as a pacifist,
Yeah, me too.
And all the weapons that we are sending to Ukraine, hopefully they use them up, because otherwise they're going to come back to haunt us. Yeah, this is how it has always been. We send weapons all around the world, and you reap what you sow. It's just a fact of life.
Oh, dude, Jim's getting harsh here. He said, "Here's my political rant for the day: President Buchanan can suck it."
Yeah, let's get back to the insults. Obviously, Jim doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course, he never does. That guy.
Jim's at Starbucks being like, "You looking at me, bro?" The idea of Jim being like the chest pumping bro guy It was
Yeah,
very
that's
funny to me.
hilarious. Well, we were talking on the phone, and Jim was like, we were joking that my brother was going to be like this huge Trumper and just, get all in you guys' face, about Trump. So that was going to be like the worst scenario you could think of, And Jim was explaining to me, he's like, Paul, nobody, I'm pretty laid back. Nobody gets on my nerves really. And he's like, wait, there is that one guy that gets on my nerves. And it's the chest bumping fighting guy, And he's like, I can't stand to be around that one.
Yeah, that's pretty tough, man. Like I had a roommate once early in college who was that guy who'd like start fights out of nowhere with people, and you're like, oh my gosh, dude. And he was like the most insecure guy I knew.
Mm-hmm.
He drove like a really big truck and like he just got in fights with people. And it's like
awesome.
It was just like one of those things where it's like he'd be like, you guys want to go out? And we're all like, no, not oh, look at that, I'm busy, I don't know. you have fun out there. Yeah, but yeah, like anyhow, the bizarre thing is I don't know, it's like watching the flat earth thing too was fun. But it's like the idea that like such a giant chunk of people kind of believe in something as nutty as the flat earth stuff. Like the lizard people thing used to be like a very fringe thing. That's kind of a fun thing, When did this become like I don't know, it's just bizarre to think when it became like a big, the actual thing it is.
Listen to a podcast this morning that said 7% of people surveyed believe QAnon. 7%.
That's a huge percentage.
But then if you ask them, if you do the survey and you ask details like, do you believe that these elite political Hollywood, types are kidnapping children and, drinking their blood and all the specifics of the QAnon theories, then the percentage goes up to like 15.
It goes up?
It goes up, yes.
Oh, that's the opposite of what I'd expect. I'd expect it to go down, right? You'd expect it to be like people who are like not really knowing what they're signing up for,
Right. No, yeah. It surprisingly goes up. Yeah.
15%. Yeah. That is huge.
That's like 1 out of every 7 or something like that.
That's ridiculous. That's bigger than like the Green Party.
Right. Who's all about, saving the earth. Let's just try to save. Nah, fuck that.
Oh my gosh. Oh, could you imagine if people who were like legitimately concerned about children were like 15% of the population? Like how much power that would be, like to get some stuff done, like for actual crimes?
No, we can't have that.
Yeah. Anyhow. Oh man. Yeah, I always find that just bizarre, but whatever, I guess to each their own. Just with that one, that's a hard one to each their own.
Right. It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I like people better than arguing with people,
I am kind of with you on that. Like, I don't know. I used to really enjoy argument. Now I'll enjoy like watching a good debate or something. Like that's fun. But it's like I don't particularly I don't particularly like debating myself. Although I will say there was a really funny debate recently on a very contentious issue.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really enjoy Destiny, like the streamer.
Okay.
I think he's actually really interesting.
I don't think I've watched him at all, but
yeah, there was one really recently where he was like doing pro choice versus pro life, of which I will not share my stance on here because I don't want to get into like abortion stuff with people. Like it's like the least fun thing you could talk about on a stream. But
Mhm.
I will say he faced off with two people and just demolished them in a debate. It was kind of amazing to watch, just on
Yeah.
a skill level, the
Right.
ability to kind of do that, you know.
I recently, just yesterday, saw that there was a lot of publicity around Tim Pool debating with Emma Vigeland, I think is her name.
Oh, who's Tim Pool? Like, I feel like I've heard of Tim Pool.
Tim Pool, he always wears like a knit hat.
Oh wait, is he like a okay, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And anyway, he argued with, there's this girl.
Wait, he's the guy who had he had I think I have seen him because when Kanye was doing his weird like Nazi tour,
Yeah.
he went on the Tim Pool thing, and then I think they ended up walking off or something, right?
Yeah, I think so. That might be the guy.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all the different characters, but there's Emma Vigeland, who's from the Majority Report, which is like a left.
Oh, okay. I know her then. Yeah.
She's real pretty,
Majority
right?
Report.
And Tim Pool's just your average ordinary schmuck, and he's talking about how conservative voters are better looking than left or liberal voters. And it's like, why would you do that when you have like, an objectively nice looking girl on your, it's just going to be so easy for her to go, well, she doesn't even have to say it.
You know what's bizarre? Like that even just that attitude is so strange too, because I don't understand people who are pro Trump making like a looks argument. Like that's the most baffling thing to me about Trump himself.
There's so many baffling things.
He's not a good looking dude.
Right.
And a lot of people who like watch him will be like, you gotta work out, bro, you gotta pump iron, and you're like, but like I mean, just objectively, like, come on, look at your guy,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's always a weird one to me.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's hilarious. I'm gonna have to check out that debate. I was just talking about a very notorious Majority Report debate with what was his name? This Change My Mind guy.
Oh, I don't know who that is. Is that Crowder? Or?
Yeah, Crowder. Yeah, so there was a notorious H3H3 had a debate scheduled with Crowder, and Crowder kept saying like, I'm going to demolish him because he's not a debater, he's a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And they ended up doing a sneak attack. So like H3H3 was on Crowder's show, and then they were like, he basically was like, I thought about what you said, Steven, and you're right. Like, I'm not really a good debater, so I thought I should bring somebody in the same league as you. And he introduced Sam Cedar, and like Sam Cedar came on and he had just like, it was hilarious because it's like you can watch it online, but it's like a complete meltdown. Steven Crowder had a total meltdown just at like being ambushed by Sam Cedar.
Yeah.
The whole thing being funny because he does that to students like all the time.
Oh, really? Oh, Crowder does?
Yeah, he'll just show up on a campus and like debate a bunch of students who had no prep and weren't ready for it, and he's prepped for like weeks on and researched like whatever topic he's going to debate.
Yeah.
And then he gets these college students who are just walking by on campus. And so it's like kind of equivalent to that, like where Sam Cedar appeared and was ready to rock, But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I enjoy the Majority Report. It's been going for a long time.
Has it?
That show, yeah. But that'd be interesting to watch. I'd have to see that Tim Pool.
Well, I mean, she's really good. She's
incredible. Yeah.
She has the comebacks right at the right time. She has all the facts on. I mean, she was just destroying them. At one point he said, "Well, that's a good point," But let's not linger on that. Let's keep it moving. Like basically, like, you know, I concede, which you never hear in debate. I mean, he was just, yeah, she just, you know, I don't know much about debating, but I felt like she won.
Yeah.
Knockout.
That's awesome. Yeah, I enjoy watching it. I wouldn't enjoy doing it, but I enjoy watching it for sure.
Yeah, no, I couldn't debate anybody. That would be a disaster. But
I feel like you do awesome in it. I feel like you might be just maybe it's like you have a past life of secretly debating.
no, I'm not good with confrontation. Is my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good at all. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I can kind of understand that. I am a mix of confrontational, like to an extent where I've gotten in trouble in my life by being too confrontational when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't like bullies, and so what I'd always do is like intellectually destroy bullies.
Right. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, but like bullies don't like it. So, yeah. But that's like a part of my soul I've had to kind of quell as I've gotten older, you know.
Yeah.
Like learn how to pick my battles, that kind of thing.
Right. Oh, for sure. Well, I was telling Jim a story because he had said, you know, that's the kind of guy that, like, the fighting guy. I don't know if I told this story while you were there, but my brother, this is years ago when he still lived in Michigan, he had a different kind of car, but it was this still, you know, it's the car that he made. It looked like a Mad Max mobile, you know.
Yeah.
And did I tell you this story?
I know.
Okay, so I convinced my brother's like the last guy that wants to go to a bar and have a drink, right? It's like completely doesn't interest him at all. But I convinced him to meet me in downtown Flint, me and my friend, for a drink, which he doesn't drink, but he'll just, you know, hang out.
Yeah.
So he comes down there, he parks his car in the parking lot like me and my friend did. And he comes in, we hang out for, you know, an hour. It's probably all he can take. I've had maybe a beer. So we come out to the parking lot, and there's these guys looking at his car, a big group of guys, maybe like 7 guys.
Oh,
and my brother's like, and I'm like, oh man, what are they doing? And he's like, oh, they're just checking it out, you know, be cool. And I'm like, okay. And then well, they reach into the car because it's just got like this open roof to it, and they push a button and the horn goes off because that's how you honk the horn in the car. And my brother, even then, was like, oh, just relax, you know, it's okay. And I don't know, I just like lost my mind. And I ran right up into these guys and was like, get away from the car. And these guys are big dudes, you know, and they're like looking at me like, what are you gonna do, you know?
Oh no.
And I was that guy. Anyway, my brother came and like calmed down the whole situation. But I was just being like a dick. And
I can kind of understand that though, because like that's kind of a dick move to just reach into somebody's car.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know, but I completely reacted in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so, and my
well,
brother,
yeah, and that could end really badly with that many people, like,
yeah,
you know, with that many guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and my brother's used to it, right? So he knows how to act around it. And so anyway, we get in my friend's car. He's got this little junker, you know. We get out, we leave the parking lot, and we pull out into the street. There's traffic light. So we're stopped. We're in traffic, waiting for the light to turn. I look over, and I see all these guys running at our car. Like I'm sitting in the passenger seat. And one of them's got a baseball bat. He's headed right for me. And I'm like, oh, man, we can't go anywhere. We're stuck in traffic. Just as he gets like where he's going to bash the window in right where my face is, my brother pulls up in his car and cuts him off, the guy off. And the light turns and we go boom, down the street.
Jeez.
It was nuts. So my brother kind of saved my ass that night twice.
That's crazy, man. It's kind of nuts that like just a car would create that kind of reaction.
Right. So the moral of the story is drive a junky car that doesn't
Yeah.
draw any attention.
Yeah.
And that's what I've done ever since.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. I didn't even think of that, but like the car guy culture is probably similar to like going to like the beach with like in a high surfing area, you know, where you're just like you're gonna meet all the local surf dudes who are just like, "What are you doing on our beach?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
By the way, the surfing there at Huntington Beach, man, that is awesome.
Oh yeah.
I love watching those guys.
Yeah. There's yeah, I mean like one of my roommates when I lived in Huntington was like an ex-pro surfer, and he'd go there and just like shred.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty good like right by that pier, you know. There's some pretty good
yeah, I think on Sunday they were having a competition.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
I
don't know how you live there. That place sucks.
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah. I don't know, like I'm just dying in the weather out here. I wish I was in Michigan, really.
Yeah.
The lovely weather. I will say this though, like one thing that like I know some people who don't like the fact, and I kind of understand this. There's not really seasons. So that's the one kind of I mean, I don't know, like I do think there's kind of a charm to seasons. And so I think if people like having seasons, then like, you know, California may not be for them, you know?
Yeah, right.
Because it just gets tiring, like, you know, all this
always sunny,
beautiful sunshine. And
yeah.
I mean, occasionally it rains, like maybe like once or twice a year. It's really hard, guys.
Yeah, it's just like me trying to prove to you that Michigan is better than California. That sounds like somebody that's just full of shit.
I will say, I still have yet to go to Detroit, and I'd love to because there's a lot of rad music.
Yeah,
at least for punk rock, like Michigan's a key area, you know.
Yeah, well, and then Motown and everything. So
yeah,
no, Detroit's a cool city for sure. And Michigan's got a lot of good history, you know, with the all the automakers and things.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I wonder if I feel like EVs should like locate in Michigan. It'd be cool. The only problem with the EV thing is like I think like from what I've heard about like Tesla and stuff, I hear like most of the floor is automated now. Like beyond, it's like automated automation. So it's like taking all the automation and then automating that. So it's like I don't think there's a lot of guys on the floor at those plants.
Gotcha.
Because I think the way they're structuring it is like they're building cars. It's kind of weird, but from what I understand, it's like they're kind of building Teslas like a Hot Wheel, which is kind of insane. Frank Salazar said he's back.
Hello, Frank.
Nice. Guess who's back?
Shady's back.
That's right. Frank. The Frankinator.
Frankly.
So I think I'm basically like working out these roughs, getting there. I'm trying something a little different where I'm gonna draw Robert and Elizabeth each separately, but I did kind of lose track of what I was doing for a second there. Frank, if you want to hop on, man, you're more than welcome. we'd appreciate the company. I feel like by the time I finish a rough, or actually before I've even finished a rough, I feel like, Paul, you'll be done with a page.
Well, yeah, but it's comparing apples and oranges, I think.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't rough. I actually, this page that I'm working on, I worked on it yesterday morning, and I was because I did it on my Saturday morning cartoon stream, and I'd say on this page I'd like spent more time roughing it out and getting the layout right than I've done on any other page. But I'm really happy with the way that it kind of flows, you know. I'll show it to you. Let me see. See if you can see this or not.
Oh, let's make that a big.
Oh,
nice. Oh, that is really nice. I like the kind of intense car action going on. How's that been like an interesting challenge, like doing like movement of cars? Like it's interesting because I haven't really done any car chases, you know.
Right. It's coming up. I've got a lot of car chase stuff and car wars kind of thing. And it's interesting for sure.
Have you learned any interesting stuff about just like what works sequentially for cars? Like to me, I'd be interested in that because again, I haven't really done car chase things.
I don't know that there's anything I could point to right now, but you know, like I'll show you this, like what I was discussing yesterday. Well, let's see if you can see the guy. Can you see the guy getting in the car?
Yeah.
You know, I drew several different versions of that. Like, where do I have him standing outside the door?
Yeah.
You know, and this is what I landed on. I don't know specifically why this is the one, but it's like the car picked him up. So
yeah,
you know, I wanted to demonstrate that this was a friendly ride for that guy. Oops.
Yeah.
And then this one, I added the vroom there at the last second. You know, because there's a guy, Detective Perez there has been following this guy. So I added that, you know, that I wasn't going to add that. I didn't know if that would be appropriate, but yeah, I don't know if there's anything I could point to. About cars. It's just interesting. It's like the most dynamic pose, you know, question.
Frank was asking, are you working on your death comic? Yes, not death, but love. Not death, Frank, but love.
You've got me covering the whole screen here, Josh.
Oh, sorry.
You don't want that.
Hey, I don't know, man. That's where the money is. Frank says, I find your vroom highly inappropriate.
Right. Well, this happens.
How dare you, sir? How dare you, vroom? Yeah, Frank was saying, oh, the love comic. Yeah, he wanted the death comic, but it's not death, but love. Yeah, that's right.
Get it correct.
Yeah, it's interesting. The zone you kind of get in, like you've talked about this before too, and maybe you're noticing this on your streams, you know. But it's weird when you get in this zone of, it is possible to talk and work, but the one thing I found that doesn't go away is I will like occasionally have just a moment where I completely zone out, and which is going to be interesting to see tonight, where I'm going to be trying to kind of host a AMA, but also work on comics. So my hope is to just kind of have a lot of questions, great questions to ask Scott that I can just read off, and then while he's answering them, draw.
There you go. Yeah, I find it. I mean, I move a lot faster if I'm not getting distracted. So
yeah. So, what are your favorite things to listen to whilst working?
You know, our Justin Timberlake.
Hey, I will not
I'm not
knock
sure.
Justin Timberlake. I enjoyed Justin Timberlake. I think he's badass.
uh, no, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm trying to rough out a page, I got to concentrate. But
Frank said your hat suits you, and it's nice.
my suit hats me. You listen to different things at different times, right? Like you like to listen to podcasts, but not when you're laying out a page, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like right now, I'm kind of okay. Like I can have conversations and stuff. I could probably listen to a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm but when I'm thumbnailing, it's really
Thumbnail.
like that's a little harder. Like when I'm thumbnailing, I need to like talk out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so if I'm talking, even like talking with somebody, it's like I need to kind of talk through what I'm drawing.
Mm-hmm.
But then with pencils, I need like absolute focus.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird one where it's
Hmm.
like with like final art, like I have to really be just focused on my own thing. I can listen to stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but that's when I absolutely cannot talk because I'm
So
just more in the
what you're
zone.
doing now is roughing out
Yeah.
a page?
Yeah.
And the blue part, was that the layout?
That was my thumbnail.
Thumbnail.
So
I don't have the terminology right.
So it's like I kind of thumbnail and then I do roughs and then from the roughs then I do finals.
Gotcha.
And I'm doing my roughs a little tighter than necessary, but it's like I like to do that. So it's also helpful for my publisher to see it.
Mm-hmm. So how
Because
often do you send roughs to your publisher?
as I do them,
Okay, so every one.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because it's a quick way to get feedback, and then they have time to like look at it and give me feedback. And by the time I get any corrections or anything like that, it's like,
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you do more than one rough at a time, right?
what do you? Sorry, what do you mean?
Don't you do like 5 roughs?
Yeah, I've
Or
been
do you
doing them
do
in
5
batches of
layout?
5. Yeah, and then I'll kind of do the art as needed. But just because of Jim's kind of suggestion, um, just Jim's suggestion kind of change things up. I think I'm going to do 10 this time, just to kind of, I don't know, and maybe batch stuff. I don't
So
know.
don't you find like Jim to always be sort of like overbearing like that? He's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
controlling.
yeah, Jim can be pretty controlling. There's definitely times. The other thing that I've found about Jim is sometimes he'll say really mean things and you call him on it and he'll be like, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. He's like
And
a sociopath.
yeah, he has this tendency to like, he did this experiment with a stove light where, he would turn the light on the stove. And then I would be like, Jim, the gas is on. And he'd be like, no, it isn't. Okay, so Frank said, I'm about to sit at my computer and catch up on stuff. And then he also said, I enjoy a good boy band song once in a while. Aren't you like a huge NSYNC fan? Or am I, wait a minute, that's bad. I think you're more Backstreet Boys fan, right? And then Frank
Is
said,
Joey Fatone Frank's favorite NSYNC? Or is it?
I don't know if it's, I feel like it's Backstreet Boys
Oh.
for Frank. Frank said, I cannot listen to a live stream while I'm working on something that has a deadline. I end up wanting to participate in the stream and I get nothing done. Oh, interesting. And then he said, "This is the Rough Riders panel. Paul's cowboy hat was a good choice for today." Nice. Yes. Frank said, "How dare you? Backstreet Boys." Got it. Who's your favorite Backstreet Boy, Frank? I know there's
Mine's
an
AJ
answer.
for sure. I'm an AJ guy.
I don't know any of the Backstreet Boys. I read a recent thing with Dave Grohl had a quote about the Backstreet Boys. That was kind of funny that I read recently.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he was like at an event where they put him on the balcony. It was like for like an MTV thing or something. And then they had Backstreet Boys playing. And so he was kind of joking around because they were doing the Backstreet's back, and he's like, "All right." And then the guys from Backstreet Boys actually were like, "Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Grohl." It's like all the attention went on him right when he's like, "All right." And he realized like at that point he was caught on camera singing along to the Backstreet Boys. It's kind of funny.
All right. So I have like I think 3 pages with like no dialogue.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, isn't that, it takes me all this time to draw these pages, and then the reader's just gonna flip through them like,
Yeah, that's one of the saddest things about comics is like you spend, an inordinate amount of your life like, making these comics, definitely years, probably at least a year, right?
Yeah.
And somebody could sit down in an evening and, maybe an hour or two and like blast through everything you did.
Yeah.
I was joking about this. Well, not even joking, more just talking about. I'm trying to find this reference again because I need to see her dress. There was a reference for her dress. It was somewhere among the references. Yar. I don't know why I'm talking like a pirate. There's one, but I feel like it was lower here. There it is. Haha. So I was talking about one of the frustrations of comics. I think one of the hardest parts of comics is you're kind of like living a story in slow motion,
Yeah.
And so it's a little frustrating when you have it all scripted out because it's like I know where this is going. Like
Right.
And so it's although it's fun in the sense that like when you get to the really good parts, like you get to be really excited because you're like, finally, I get to the action scene, or finally like stuff's about to go down. Like even with this script, the fact that we're introducing Bosco to me is really exciting because it's like, okay, we get to like the fun magician stuff and then crap goes down after this. So it's like it gets really good. Like the plot gets really juicy coming up. And like there've been a few times when we finally got them out of England, that was a really exciting point for me. So it's funny that like, these things that'll happen in like instants, can be like fun little markers,
Yeah.
along the way, I guess.
Yeah. Like this page that I'm working on is definitely one of those, but it's the, like the culmination of 3 pages where there's no dialogue.
Yeah.
And to me, it's definitely like one of those things where it's kind of the tension builds up and it's an inflection point or whatever.
Yeah.
And but it's just taking so long to freaking draw, But I really try to spend a lot of time thinking about like the reader turning the pages, and I want the ride to be kind of like this, up and down, But it takes a long time, and then you you want it to be a page turner,
Yeah, and it's so much consideration too,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like okay, I need to remember what Robert's costume is here because it was one of these? No. There's like a selection of Victorian era costumes. By the way, I just realized how bad that looks. That's badly posed.
Wow. What is this comic about?
That was a magic show of some kind. Just their
That's
poses.
awesome.
Look at that. Anyhow, that was kind of funny. I didn't even see what I saw in it this last time originally. So I have a good 20 minutes. Oh, Frank said if we're going to be on, he can hop on. You cool with that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm
Frank can be one of those guys who's like, "Are you looking at me, bro?"
Yeah. Well, as soon as he gets on here, I'm leaving. But
He can't share the stage lights.
no, actually, I think I'm done with this page here. As soon as I put on this bubble tail.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you.
What time is it over there for you?
2:07 p.m.
Nice.
I am sad to report I woke up this morning to a trail of ants in our house.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
The ant thing's a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah, it's been dry and hot up here, and so I think, and we have a kid who tends to be messy. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. Definitely not my fault.
Yeah, it's the kid leaving the cookies open or whatever.
Yeah,
that's got to be it. The cookie trail. Where is this? Like, the problem I have is I'm not as organized as I should be. Because I'm like, I know I have an image here. It's going to show me his costume. And I can't freaking find it. There it is. Thank goodness.
Nice.
Okay. Look at, like, what's weird about these old Victorian illustrations is, like, look at these feet.
I know. I was just noticing that.
Like, did people just have small feet back in time?
Or is that the style, is that the style of drawing?
Oh no. Frank said, "I now retract my offer to hop on, you filthmonger." Oh no. It'd be fun to have Frank on.
What happened?
I don't know. I was joking.
Is he serious?
Frank. I hope he wasn't serious. I think if he were serious, he wouldn't call me a filthmonger. But I do hope Frank Lee will join us as one of the kindest people on earth.
Yeah, I was actually really excited for Frank that he was doing the zine workshop.
I'm excited too. I think it's really cool that he's doing that.
Yeah,
very awesome.
Definitely. I would like to hear how it went.
I would like to hear about it too. Hopefully Frank knows the bit we've been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I think Frank is going to come on, and I think when he does, maybe it'll be like a wrestling intro kind of thing. Frank, I can't see you, though. I just see a white screen. Let's see it. Well, let's add it and see what happens. Frank. Oh, snap. Frank has come. Hello, how are you doing? Can you hear us?
Frank's wearing a tie?
Well, I would guess that Frank probably went to church recently. I would imagine. Is there a Frank there?
Hi, Frank. You doing all right?
You must not be getting audio. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Oh, you finished up your page.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And look at the dialogue's all washed out.
Let's make that big.
It's weird, isn't it? How that does that.
Nice.
Anyway. Ding, ding, ding.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Awesomeness. I got a good 15 minutes to go till I have to go rock and roll, play some music.
So you got a jam session today?
Yeah, my friend Josh and I are just like our drummer ended up moving away.
So this is the No Saboteurs group, right?
Yeah, and so what we've been doing is just like recording just for the hell of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like making albums and stuff. And so like we're working on one. We're not very far on it, but
that sounds like so much fun.
It is fun, man. It's fun to like be creative in a different way, you know?
So if you said like, you know how you say like if you like Ghost World and you mix it up in a blender with the other thing that you get Jacob's Apartment, what would you say about your band like that? Like
that's hard to figure out because, like, initially,
Tears for Fears mixed up with, No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I think if you took the Backstreet Boys and mixed them in a blender with Husker Du, I don't know. But I like we're kind of all over the place. Like I'd say like our first album that we did was like very kind of post-punky, like so it's a little bit like if you took like the Pixies and Fugazi and like mixed them together. I think our next one's like much more like Sonic Youth-y kind of experimental, you know, alternative rock kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So what's interesting is I had him wearing a top hat, and I'm just realizing with his Abe Lincoln style beard, he definitely looks very Abe Lincoln like.
Yeah. Is that not good?
Well, the character, like this character, just he looks a bit like Abe Lincoln, you know.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, so I don't think Frank made it. I think Frank kind of showed up, and then I'm guessing his connection was.
Yeah, I was really gonna wait till he got on to insult him.
But anyhow, so well, I am gonna probably.
So you're gonna go jam with your friend, and then you're gonna come back and do Artcasters?
Yeah, I might even stream before Artcasters. Who knows?
Okay.
But but I definitely will say later today on the stream there will be on my channel there will be an Artcasters, a special Sunday Casters, where we're going to be doing an Ask Me Anything with Scott Cirkland. So if you guys have the ability to kind of reach out to me and message me or whatever questions you'd like to ask Scott tonight about his new YouTube launch, definitely let me know, as I'll be kind of fielding questions to Scott about his new YouTube channel. Which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out Scott's new stuff, his newest video is up, and it's going to show you kind of the newer direction that he's heading in. So if you guys want to see a new direction, you should go check out Scott Cirkland's channel.
It's one way to go about it.
Nice. Oh, we got Frank right before close. Will he make it? Will Frank make it? Oh, Frank, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen, buddy. I was just closing out. I'll leave it on just in case. Frank, can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us.
Come in, Frank. Come in, Frank. Can you hear us, Frank?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're frozen, but we can hear you. I think.
Hello.
Well, Frank, we were about to close out, but real quick before we do, why don't you let us know how the workshop went?
He just posted in the comments, man, I think my connection is messing up.
Oh, we lost Frank. Okay. Next time maybe. Anyhow, so we're gonna go ahead and close out because I do have to head out. I could end up getting lost in the sauce here. But I feel like we're making pretty good progress on the rough. And I'll probably finish this up tonight, if not before tonight, on Artcasters. So anyhow, if you guys haven't yet, hit the bell, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notifications when we're about to go live. And if you've enjoyed watching this, take the 2 seconds to hit the like button and make sure you support Paul Pate's work too. And check out the Detective Perez books; they're really good. I endorse them heavily. Paul, anything, anywhere you'd like people to go?
No, just have a good day.
Nice. Have a good day. Also, make sure you're following Paul Pate on YouTube as well, because he does Saturday streams and they're super fun. So, all right.
Thanks, Josh. It was good chatting with you.
Yeah, it was good. It was good having you on. Thanks for hanging out. All right. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.